Andrews Sisters. Was it the Andrews Sisters? I think Rum and Coca-Cola. And Rum and Coca-Cola is actually a Trinidadian tune from, I can't remember who the artist was that did it, but it was an old record from Port of Spain, a calypso tune. But if you go to Cuba and tell someone, we play that tune and say it's a Professor Longhair tune, they'll frown at you. And if they say it's a Trinidadian tune, they'll scowl at you. And they'll put you straight very quickly. Say, no, that's an old Cuban tune written by a guy called Miguel Matamoros from Oriente Province in eastern Cuba. And the original title is Son de la Loma. And it's a song about musicians. The style of music in that part of Cuba is called son. And son de la Loma means they are from the hills. It's a bit of a pun as well. But it actually has an extra section which you don't hear in the English language Rum and Coca-Cola. So I'll play you a little bit of that one and give you a little taster. I'm not going to sing it in Spanish because I'll mess it up horribly. But I'll just give you a little taste of it. So this is Son de la Loma from Miguel Matamoros in the early 20th century in eastern Cuba, which then was a huge hit all over the Caribbean and got reinvented in Trinidad and then picked up on by the Andrews Sisters in Hollywood. And then I think that was the version probably that Professor Longhair heard rather than... although he may have heard it from Trinidadian sailors coming up, it's entirely plausible, but it's such a ubiquitous tune that I'm sure he heard the same pop version everybody else heard, but anyway. Yeah. So another tune that Fess cut I really dig is another old song that goes back. No one really knows how old this song or what the actual original background stories, different theories. Anyway, Stagger Lee was a tune that was a hit by a piano player that used to play at the Absinthe Bar in the 1940s called Archibald. And his real name was Leon Gross, and he only did one recording session. But out of that came a single that was a big hit locally. And and I heard a version of it by Dr. John, which really killed me. I thought it was great. And then I was eventually able, when I got here, to track down the original version. And so Fess did his version. There's another version that was a big hit by Lloyd Price, who we lost last year. And that was a big hit. That had an entirely different arrangement, but the original one goes a bit like this. I was standing on the corner, yeah, when I heard my bulldog bark. He was barking at the tomb and that boy gambling while in the dark. It was Stigley and Billy, two men alike, dark gambling. Stigley threw himself on Billy's foot and he threw away. Stigley told Billy, I can't believe you go with that. You have one on my own money and my brand new Stetson hat. Stigley, he went running down that lonesome railroad track. Said, I won't kill you now, Billy, but you don't be here when I come back. Since Stigley, he went home, yeah, he got his 44. Said, I'm going to the bar, I'm gonna pay that debt I owe. Stigley went to the barroom, stood across that barroom door. Said, don't nobody move, 'cause I got my 44. Said, now Billy, he said, Stack, brother, please don't you take my life. I got 3 hungry children and a very sickly wife. But Stigley, he shot Billy, yeah, shot that poor boy so fast. You know the bullet went through Billy and it broke the bartender's glass. And he shot Stack in the side. Stigley went stumbling into his mother's door. He said, mother, oh mother, yeah, won't you turn me over slow? I got stabbed in my left side with a police 44. Heard that Stack, yeah, that Stack Ali was dead. Some came dressed in orange colors, you know, some came dressed in red. Stigley had to go down to the devil to identify Billy's soul. But the poor wife was absent, he had burned down to charcoal. Now the devil heard a rumbling, mighty rumbling under the ground. Now there must be Stagger Lee turning Billy upside down. Now they're sitting, the devil pig, on top of that devil shelf. Said if you want Stagger Lee, go and get him for yourself. Yes, indeed. Thank you. I ain't mad at you, don't be mad at me. I ain't mad at you, don't be mad at me. 1 and 1 is 2, yeah, 1 and 2 is 3. Now in the night, oh, in the night, yeah, in the night, oh, in the night, in the wee hours between the night and day. All them girls get sex appeal. Now when they get to rockin', it's a real good deal. In the night now, oh yeah, in the night, in the wee hours between the night and day. night. Oh, baby, in the night. In the wee wee hours between the night and day. Dick, my baby, things get a little rough. Drinking that whiskey and hitting that stuff in the night. Oh, Lord, in the night. In the wee wee hours between the night and day. Yeah. Thank you. One of the tunes that Fess did I really dug was actually a cover of a really hip tune by another Louisiana piano player who is better known actually as a songwriter. And he left Louisiana fairly early in his career and moved to Los Angeles. And Ray Charles really, really dug him. And Ray Charles would always be hitting him up for songs. And so he gave Ray Charles some of his best songs. Best, I guess the most well-known song was Hit the Road, Jack. Anyway, his name was Percy Mayfield. And he wrote lots of great tunes, but this one is particularly good. He did several versions himself, but Fess covered this one too. And it's a riff, actually. Very hip, very simple little piano riff, but you hear that. James Booker heard that, and Mac Rebennack heard that too. It crops up occasionally and stuff they do. Anyway, it's called The River's Invitation. Well, I've been across the country, and I've played in every town, 'cause I'm trying to find my baby, but no one has seen her around. Now you know which way I'm heading if my baby can't be found. Well, I spoke to the river, and the river spoke back to me. He said, you look so lonely, so full of misery. It said if you can find your baby, come make your home here with me. I want to leave her, 'cause I know she's still alive, and someday I'm gonna find her and take her out for a ride, and we'll live our life together and in a home among the tide. On the tide. Thank you. That's Percy Mayfield. So, Mel, I've got time for one more. I'm going to play a tune of mine that I actually wrote a few years back and completely forgot all about. I just stumbled across it the other day. It's not Porch Street Blues. That's not very Professor Longhair. Can you even say that, Professor Longhair? This one's called In a Pickle for a Tickle, and it's loosely based on an old Pres Prado tune that I stumbled across many, many years ago. And I always dug, like I said right at the beginning, what I really love about Professor Longhair is the Latin influence in the way he plays piano. And it's very honest. He's not trying to copy anything. He just heard the stuff that he liked. But I was always curious, where did he get it from? And I was talking to Uganda Roberts, the percussionist that played with him. And he said, oh man, I used to go by Fess's house and we'd sit around all day just listening to Pres Prado records. And I thought, that's it. That's where, you know, I mean, there's obviously lots of other places too where you can hear Latin music. But he really dug Pres Prado. And there might be people here who are familiar with Pres Prado. A lot of his stuff is actually associated with pretty cornball, kind of Hollywood cha-cha-cha records from the 1950s. But a lot of people don't realize he actually was a really good piano player. He started out as a pianist. And anyway, so this is a song of mine, and it was influenced by Pres Prado and Professor Longhair, and it kind of ties everything in, completes the circle for me anyway. Thank you all for coming out. A lot of fun. I really enjoyed doing these little gigs in here. Nice to have an attentive audience so you can explain some stuff to anyone. This one's called In a Pickle for a Tickle. My baby sure loved to blow on a great big saxophone. She's always had a soft spot for a ride on a slide trombone. But that's just me, and it's plain to see from New Orleans to Havana. You put the lady in a pickle when I show how I tickle all them keys on a grand piano. Don't get me wrong, I dig the sound of that big bad booty bass. And I know my axe is hard to pack, and it don't fit in the case. Bongos cool and fiddles too, but from New Orleans to Havana, it put the ladies in a pickle when they see how I tickle all them keys on a grand piano. Well, I radiate her and tickle all in my ovaries. From up in the heavens to down with the devil, on the way to the deep blue sea. She said, don't get me wrong, pleading with your bunch of big bananas. It put the ladies in a pickle when they see I tickle all them keys on a grand piano. I love the sound of that big bad booty bass. And I know my axe is hard to pack, and it don't fit in the case. Fiddles cool, bongos too, but from New Orleans to Havana, it put the ladies in a pickle when they hear I tickle all them keys on a grand piano. Don't think her fickle if she's in a pickle for a tickle, for them keys on a grand piano. Thank you all very much for coming out. Thank you. Have a lovely Christmas. Happy New Year, everybody. And let's hope we can keep the gigs happening. Right. Thank you.